TCL's Masterplan, from local TV brand to global giant. TCL didn't rise by chance. While the world focused on the flashy brands, TCL was quietly building something bigger. Factories, technology, and a strategy bold enough to shake the entire TV industry.
TCL is already a world leader in the television and household appliances industries.
How did a local brand rewrite the global playbook and climb to the top? This is the master plan the world never paid attention to, until now. 10. The bold vision nobody expected. TCL wasn't trying to be another TV brand fighting for shelf space. They were thinking much bigger. While the world saw them as a local electronics maker, TCL quietly asked themselves a daring question. Why depend on others when we can control everything ourselves? Most companies played safe, buying screens, buying parts, and relying on suppliers for every major component. TCL flipped the script. They aimed to build their own ecosystem from the ground up, from displays to chips to manufacturing. This single decision didn't just change their strategy, it rewired the entire direction of the company. While other brands were busy chasing trends and pouring money into flashy ads, TCL was building something far more powerful. Deep technology, giant factories, and long-term control. They weren't chasing attention, they were building an empire, quietly, patiently, and with a vision nobody saw coming. 9. The game-changing move, building their own display factories. In the TV industry, almost everyone follows the same script. Buy screens from the big suppliers and assemble the rest. But TCL looked at this system and thought, why let someone else control the most important part of our product? So they broke the rules and invested billions into building their own advanced display factories. Not small workshops, but massive, high-tech panel plants capable of producing some of the world's most sophisticated screens. And this move flipped the power dynamic overnight. TCL no longer had to wait for shipments, negotiate for better prices, or adjust their designs based on what suppliers offered. They gained something far more valuable: freedom. With their own factories, TCL could push new technology faster, improve quality on their own terms, and drop prices in ways competitors simply couldn't match. This wasn't just a business upgrade, it was a turning point. By controlling their most important component, TCL quietly took control of their entire future. And that single decision would fuel the rise that shocked the global TV industry. 8. They didn't just make TVs, they built an ecosystem. TCL knew something most companies learn too late. A single product can make you popular, but an ecosystem makes you unstoppable. While other brands stayed focused only on TVs, TCL quietly began expanding into every corner of the home. Not randomly, but with a clear, calculated strategy. They invested heavily in display technology, then moved into chips and components, making sure they controlled what powered their devices. From there, they stepped into everyday appliances, air conditioners, refrigerators, washing machines, turning themselves into a full-service home brand. But they didn't stop. TCL pushed into smartphones, tablets, and IoT smart home devices, creating a network of products that could talk to each other, learn from each other, and work together seamlessly. This meant a customer who bought one TCL product often ended up buying more, not because of marketing pressure, but because the experience genuinely felt smoother under one ecosystem. Slowly, room by room, TCL wasn't just selling gadgets, they were building the modern smart home and placing their brand at the center of it. 7. Strategic acquisitions that skyrocketed their growth. TCL didn't want to spend decades slowly convincing the world to trust a new name. Instead, they looked for a shortcut, and they found one. Rather than entering every country from scratch, TCL began acquiring established brands that already had recognition, loyal customers, and deep distribution networks. Their boldest move came when they secured the global rights to Thomson in Europe and RCA in North America, two names that had been part of households for generations. Overnight, TCL gained something far more valuable than factories or technology: credibility. This single decision opened doors that would have taken years to unlock. Retailers who might have hesitated to place a new Chinese brand on their shelves suddenly welcomed TCL with familiar labels. Consumers who had never heard of TCL were now buying their products without hesitation, because the brand logos they saw were already trusted. But the real genius was that TCL didn't stop at using these names. They used them as a launch pad, introducing their own technology, their own designs, and their own aggressive pricing into markets that were previously hard to crack. TCL didn't sneak into the global market. They walked straight through the front door, confident, prepared, and ready to grow at a speed no competitor expected. 6. Mastering what others ignored: manufacturing power. While many global TV brands were stepping away from manufacturing to cut costs, TCL moved in the opposite direction with complete confidence. They believed that real power came from owning the production line, every nut, bolt, and microchip. So instead of outsourcing, TCL poured resources into building some of the largest and most advanced automated factories in the electronics industry. These weren't ordinary assembly plants. These were high-speed, robot-driven facilities designed to produce millions of TVs with precision and consistency. By keeping so much production in-house, from display panels to final assembly, TCL gained two major advantages that their competitors couldn't easily match: lower costs and tighter control over quality. This meant they could experiment faster, upgrade technology quicker, and roll out improvements without waiting on outside suppliers. And here's the part that changed the market. TCL used this manufacturing power to offer features that were usually found in expensive, premium TVs, but at prices regular families could afford. That combination of high quality, fast production, and shockingly competitive pricing is exactly what pushed TCL from being just another brand to becoming a global favorite almost overnight. Their factories didn't just make products, they built TCL's rise. 5. The big leap: investing in Mini LED before anyone else. While most TV brands were busy advertising flashy features and cosmetic upgrades, TCL was quietly studying the future of display technology. And long before the industry even started talking about it, TCL spotted a breakthrough that could change everything: Mini LED. Instead of waiting for the trend to arrive, they made a bold decision: invest early, invest big, and master the technology before anyone else even caught on. They funneled massive resources into R&D, built specialized production lines, and pushed their engineers to refine a backlight system that could bring deeper contrast, brighter highlights, and stunning picture quality without the high cost of OLED. For years, nobody paid attention. Tech reviewers focused on other brands. Competitors dismissed Mini LED as too early, and the market didn't yet understand its potential. But TCL kept going, confident that this was the next major leap in TV evolution. And when Mini LED finally exploded worldwide, almost every brand scrambled to catch up. TCL didn't have to. They were already there, standing miles ahead with mature technology, stable production, and unbeatable pricing. This single move transformed TCL's image overnight. They were no longer just a value-for-money brand. They became a technology leader, proving that sometimes the biggest wins come from betting on the future before anyone else sees it. 4. Their secret advantage: global plus local strategy. TCL's rise wasn't just about technology or factories. It was about understanding the world better than their competitors. Their strategy was simple, but incredibly powerful. Act global, operate local. While most companies tried to manage everything from one headquarters, TCL spread its roots across the world, building a network that moved fast and adapted even faster. They set up factories and R&D centers not just in China, but across the globe: in the USA, Mexico, Brazil, India, Poland, and Vietnam. This wasn't just expansion for the sake of expansion. Every location had a purpose. A factory in Mexico meant quicker delivery to North America. A plant in Poland meant faster production for Europe. Facilities in India and Vietnam reduced costs and helped TCL understand fast-growing markets from the inside. And this global footprint gave them three massive advantages. First, speed. They could produce and deliver products far quicker than brands shipping everything from one country. Second, lower shipping and import costs, which made their products cheaper for customers without cutting quality. And third, local insight. Understanding what each region wanted, from screen sizes to features to pricing. While many competitors were shrinking their global presence to save money, TCL was quietly building a worldwide production empire, one that would help them move with agility, dominate new markets, and stay ahead of the curve in ways few brands could match. 3. Building a brand without shouting. In a world where brands spend millions on celebrity endorsements and flashy marketing campaigns, TCL quietly chose a completely different path. They didn't shout for attention, they didn't chase big-name celebrities, and they didn't build their reputation on hype. Instead, their growth came from something far more powerful: quality, technology, scale, and smart pricing. For years, TCL focused on perfecting their products rather than their image. They believed that if the technology was strong enough and the pricing was honest, people would naturally start talking about them. And that's exactly what happened. Customers who bought TCL TVs because they were affordable were surprised by the performance, and word of mouth slowly became one of TCL's biggest marketing engines. But here's the twist: TCL didn't stay quiet forever. Once they built a strong technological foundation and global manufacturing power, they flipped the switch. They began partnering with major sports leagues, global events, and well-known ambassadors. Suddenly, TCL wasn't just a budget brand. They were appearing on jerseys, stadium screens, and massive international broadcasts. This shift was perfectly timed. By the time TCL stepped into the spotlight, they already had the tech and the global scale to back it up. The world didn't just see advertisements, they saw a brand that had earned its place. TCL transformed from a quiet competitor into a global tech powerhouse, and they did it on their own terms. 2. The result: a new global giant. Today, TCL stands in a position that few people could have predicted a decade ago. They are now one of the top 2 biggest TV brands in the world, competing shoulder to shoulder with giants that once dominated the market without challenge. But TCL didn't rise through luck or shortcuts. They rose through strategy, discipline, and a clear vision of where the industry was heading. Their deep investment in display technology turned them into a true innovation leader, especially in mini LED and high-performance panels. While many brands still rely heavily on suppliers, TCL controls huge parts of its own supply chain, giving them speed, flexibility, and a level of quality control that's hard to match. And their presence isn't limited to one region. TCL has grown into a global electronics powerhouse, with a footprint in 160-plus countries, from Asia and Europe to Africa, the Middle East, and the Americas. Walk into almost any major electronics store around the world today, and you'll find TCL products sitting confidently next to brands that once ruled the shelves alone. This rise didn't happen overnight. Every step, building factories, acquiring brands, mastering manufacturing, betting early on new technologies, was part of a master plan that quietly pushed TCL closer to global dominance. And now, that plan has reshaped the entire TV industry. TCL isn't just part of the market anymore, they're helping lead it. 1. Turning data into their competitive weapon. While most TV brands stayed focused on hardware, bigger screens, thinner designs, louder marketing, TCL quietly unlocked a completely different advantage: data. With millions of smart TVs and connected devices in homes around the world, TCL realized they were sitting on a powerful source of insight that could reshape their entire strategy. Every time someone changed a channel, opened an app, adjusted picture settings, or streamed a movie, TCL's ecosystem learned something. Not personal information, but usage patterns that revealed what people truly wanted from their devices. They could see what people watched, when they watched, which apps they preferred, and which features were being used the most. This real-time feedback loop became a secret weapon. Instead of guessing what customers might like, TCL had a direct window into global viewing habits. They used this data to improve their software faster than competitors, refine picture modes based on actual user behavior, and roll out updates that made products feel smarter over time. Data also helped them cut unnecessary spending. If a feature wasn't being used, they stopped wasting resources on it. If a trend was rising, they were among the first to act. It even allowed TCL to predict market shifts before they went mainstream, giving them a head start others didn't have. This move transformed TCL from just a hardware manufacturer into a technology and data powerhouse. In a market where guessing wrong can cost millions, TCL chose to listen, and that decision gave them an edge no competitor can easily copy. If you found TCL's rise unbelievable, wait till you see how BYD rewrote the entire rulebook for the auto industry, or how Hisense took on Samsung and Sony head-on. Click on one of these videos. Trust me, the story gets even crazier.